Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Salem residers fondly recall recollections of the Horton house in Salem in 1930. A youthful Tom and Alice Horton were shown preparing for a fun and games in the domain. Alice mentioned a new casing development that was being erected across the road. Alice added that she had been experimenting with a new form for donuts. Tom and Alice participated how important they loved one another, and they goggled into each other's eyes. "Then is to our first time of marriage," Tom said. "And all the times to come," Alice said as she and Tom participated a toast before kissing. At the spectator office, Leo was startled when Chad entered with Thomas in hunt of a toy that belonged to Thomas. Leo rumored to Chad that Thomas had suffered too important loss for someone Thomas's age. Leo asked how Chad was holding up, and he added that Thomas and Charlotte were lucky to have Chad for a father. Leo was taken suddenly when Chad criticized himself for the fire. Chad believed that his decision to publish the story on Clyde's involvement in Salem's medicine combination had led to the fire. Leo tried to assure Chad that Chad had only been doing his job as a review publisher. Chad bothered that he'd let his family down. Leo said that Chad would walk through fire for Thomas and Charlotte, and he told Chad to stop condemning himself. Chad thanked Leo when Thomas returned. Leo remarked that Thomas appeared to have a loose tooth, and he reached for his portmanteau to offer Thomas a $5 bill. Leo and Thomas participated a warm moment when Thomas teased that Leo should pay him $50. When Chad said that it was time to drop Thomas off at Academy, Thomas asked if he could accompany Chad to the Horton house. Leo asked if Chad allowed that Leo would be welcome at the house. Leo added that he wanted to learn further about the history of the house. Thomas assured Leo that Leo would be 8. Chad, Thomas, and Leo all left together. At the Brady pub, John and Marlena met Roman and Kate, and the four of them prepared to head to the Horton house. Marlena said that she and John had decided to bring a box of Alice's donuts as a gesture of stopgap. When John said that the fire had been an act of wildfire, Roman noted that the home had nearly burned down in 1986. "Orpheus had planted a lemon at our place right coming door. We caught it just when the embers and the sparks were flying over the Horton roof," John recalled. John added that Abe had been at the Horton house in 1986 with John, Marlena, Tom, and Alice. Marlena and John participated that they had invited Abe to join them, but Abe had declined because Paulina had suffered a heart attack the former night. Roman recalled that he and Abe had been musketeers for numerous times. Roman participated a story of breaking a beacon when he'd been a boy at the Horton house. Roman recalled that Alice had said that material effects could always be replaced. In the spring of 1931 in Salem, Tom goggled at a fund watch as he awaited for a noticeably pregnant Alice to join him in the domain. As Tom and Alice participated in other fun and games, Tom wished that he could move the couple out of their one-bedroom apartment before their invigorated child entered the world. Tom pledged that he'd one day find a bigger home for him and Alice. "It's a shame they had to stop all that new development. But with so important suffering in our country, I remind myself how thankful we are for all that we have," Alice said. "Veritably lucky," Tom agreed. Alice bothered that she looked monstrous after gaining weight as a result of her gestation. Tom told Alice that she was more beautiful than ever. At the scorched remains of the Horton house, Doug, Julie, and Maggie stood in the center of what had formerly been the living room of the home. "Oh, God, no," Julie said with pained abdication as she goggled around. "I've no words," Maggie said as her voice filled with emotion. "No words. But we still have each other." "Thank God," Doug said as he squeezed Julie and Maggie's hands. A man in a firefighter's suit appeared, and he told Doug, Julie, and Maggie that it was safe to remain at the home. Julie and Maggie marveled when they discovered a president that had survived the fire. They noted that the president did not appear to have a mark on it. "It was firstly Tom Horton's president, but he left it to Alice," the firefighter said through a mask and helmet that shielded his face. Julie asked how the man in the firefighter's suit had known about the president. The man removed his mask, and he was revealed to be Lucas. Lucas said that he'd gone to help because he missed his family. Lucas recalled that he'd been warmly ate into the family when he'd first learned he was a Horton. Lucas told Doug, Julie, and Maggie that being a Horton still meant everything to him. Julie said that the house was a symbol of the love that clicked the family. Lucas participated that he'd been released from Statesville under special circumstances, and he added that his life would be in peril if certain people learned of his whereabouts. Julie swore that she and Maggie would stay quiet about Lucas' whereabouts. Lucas stepped out of the room to change. Maggie asked Julie how the president had escaped the fire. Julie wondered if Tom and Alice had been watching over the president. Julie flashed back to a discussion she would had times before with Alice. In the flashback, Julie fooled that she knew she had given Tom and Alice a lot of trouble when Julie had been growing up. Alice had said that Julie had had a rebellious side. Julie had replied that people mellowed with age. When the flashback ended, Julie smiled. Just also, Roman and Kate entered with a box of Alice's donuts. Roman and Kate marveled that the president had survived the fire. Lucas returned, and he said that he'd been careful to not be seen entering the home. After Roman, Kate, and Lucas stepped down, John and Marlena entered. Marlena recalled that Tom had warmly ate her to the sanitarium when she would first move to Salem from Colorado numerous times before. Maggie noted that Marlena had been treating Mickey Horton at Bayview at the time. Marlena said that she still flashed back the first time she had stepped inside the Horton house. A flashback began, and Marlena was shown giving Tom and Alice an update on Mickey's condition. When the flashback ended, Maggie said that the Hortons had been thankful that Marlena had saved Mickey. Marlena goggled at the president, and she warmly appertained to it as the most iconic president in all of Salem. Marlena told John that it was hard to believe it had been nearly 30 times since they had lived coming door to Tom and Alice. John recalled that he and Marlena had participated plenitude of good times together on their veranda. John and Marlena kissed before Chad entered with Thomas. Thomas was pleased when he spotted Lucas. Chad rumored to Lucas that Leo had accompanied them to the house, and he advised Lucas to stay out of sight until Leo had left. Lucas accompanied Thomas upstairs. When Leo entered, Chad told Julie that Leo wanted to learn further about the Horton family. Leo congratulated the Hortons when he called them the first family of Salem, and he politely asked Julie to tell him about the family. In the spring of 1932 in Salem, Tom joined Alice in the domain for another fun and games. When Tom noted that he and Alice had a family of 4, Alice revealed that she was pregnant again. Tom grew agitated, and he rushed to clinch Alice, who fooled that she had better not be pregnant with halves again. Tom noted that, with the couple set to expand to a family of 5, he and Alice would have to find a new home soon. Tom substantiated the casing development design hard. Alice said that the homes were too precious, and she added that she and Tom could continue managing a family at their apartment. Tom agreed with Alice, but he sounded upset and uncertain as he goggled off into the distance. Back at the Horton house, Julie and Doug told Leo that the Horton family's history in Salem began with Tom and Alice. As Leo took notes, Doug said that Tom and Alice had been teenage dears that had been married on March 7, 1930. Julie told Leo about Tom being a medical pupil during the Great Depression. Julie reeled off a list of names from the Horton family, including Bill Horton. Doug noted that he and Bill had met in captivity when Doug had been locked for being a con artist. Leo was intrigued by Doug's admission, and he shook his head when he learned that Julie's mama, Addie, had been married to Doug. Maggie said that the Hortons had had their share of drama. They had internal illness, dependence, infidelity, she said. Stranglers, sharpers, indeed demon possession, Doug added. Julie said that the family had risen above it all because of the heritage of love that Tom and Alice had passed on. Doug and Julie soon joined voices in a duet of Irving Berlin's Always. Leo promised to do his story on the Hortons justice, and he thanked Julie, Doug, and Maggie for participating the family's history with him.